Okay. All right, let's get started. So, played an RCQ this weekend. First one of the season, and first time at an event playing Phoenix aside from a couple games on Wednesday when the weekly I went to failed to fire. The games weren't that great, but it helped me figure out some sequencing and such and find some of the corners that I can improve on. And apparently I improved enough that I was able to win an RCQ. It was a relatively small, a little smaller than expected. There were a lot of events competing for people and people's attention and time that weekend in our area, especially Saturday. So it's definitely a lighter turnout. It was 5 rounds. I posted about it on Twitter every round whenever I could. A lot of my rounds went pretty long. And if you check that, you can see I played against Esper, like Esper Control, Esper cards I own kind of thing. That game was a good start for me, considering it was a nice warm-up round. And then I played against, I believe it was Niv to Light, ended up in a draw there. And then played Phoenix, going a draw with my round 3 opponent, who also ended up doing well in that event, and then beating 2 other Phoenix players. Then in the quarters, after a nice wait for those 5 rounds, finally get to play the quarters. And I play Phoenix again, beat him. And then in the last round, I played Mono Red. Those games are pretty close. I went to 1 in game 1, just barely stabilizing and racing. I managed to, what was it? I had to cast 3 spells, and the way I had to do it was I had to play a cruise, I think, for 4, and then use my next two spells. I had 3 mana available, so I had to use my Free the Fae to find a 1 mana spell, and I managed to do it in order to bring back, I think it was 2 Phoenixes to go with my 3rd already in play and attack for exactly 9 while it won. It was extremely close. And then, since it was a 2-slotter, it was me and my round 3 opponent both got the invite. We just didn't bother playing the finals because we're friends, and it was the same pricing. We split at the quarters, or we split at the semis, not the quarters. So we all got the same thing, and he and I both were playing the same deck. We're playing Blue-Red Phoenix, and the deck is pretty good. There was also a lot of Phoenix. I expected a lot, but not quite that saturation. I believe it was 21 people at the RCQ, and I think I was told there were 6 Phoenix players, which is 6, 12, 18 plus 3, which is almost a third of the room. There were also, in the top 8, there was Mono Red. There were 3 Phoenix players total, 2 winners, and then the person I played in the quarters. And then there was a Vampires player, 2 Niv players, and the Mono Red player. The other two people, I'm not sure who they were. I think those are the unaccounted for ones. Anyway, so after playing my first event with Phoenix, I think some cards are kind of bad in the deck. And here's roughly what I played. And I think some cards are way better than kind of advertised in the deck. I played mostly this. Instead of the 3rd Spell Pierce, I had a Temporal Trespass. My sideboard is mostly the same. I played Young Pyromancer over 3rd Path Iconoclast just as a budget consideration because I had Young Pyromancers and I could not find my 3rd Paths. I lost the 3rd Paths and the tokens. I think they ended up going in the sell box or the trash, respectively. What else? And instead of the 2nd Negate, I had an Aether Gust, which I don't dislike, but I think Negate is a little more broadly applicable, and I'm kind of glad to have it. However, I do want some number of Aether Gust in the deck. So this is this is mostly what I played. Everything was pretty good. One card stuck out, though, as massively overperforming, and that was Proft's Eidetic Memory. I've been pretty high on this card for a few weeks now, probably longer than that. Ever since I kind of first saw people building with it, it was something that I wasn't really paying attention to on the during spoiler season. And every time I played it, it felt like the most important card in the matchup, especially because I played so much of the mirror. It felt like one of the most important cards there. It's between like that and something like Ledger Shredder. However, this card is incredible with Ledger Shredder. It's good with almost every card in the deck. Being able to turn Picklock Prankster from something small to good on attack, on offense and defense, like for very little investment, considering you already got the card off the Free the Fae. I won quite a few games by just playing an Arclight Phoenix, turning it into a 7/6, and just my opponent not being able to handle it at all. A lot of what memory does is like it grows your creatures out of red removal range, so I think it's really important just for making everything into a significant threat, converting all of your cantrips and treasure cruises into damage. And it's not even one-shot damage, it's consistent damage because it's counters on a creature. And people just like don't know what to do once the Phoenix deck is being aggressive, especially when it's not a single small or a couple small creatures, it's one large creature. It seems to be very difficult for players to handle. Considering the breakpoint for Lightning Axe is 5 and Impulse is 3. Just making something with 6 toughness or 4 toughness is pretty strong in these red matchups, like the mirror, along with being a good engine on its own of just making your good creatures better. One time on Wednesday in testing, I went turn 2 Ledger Shredder into turn 3 Memory Cantrip, and I ended up with a 4/6 Shredder on turn 3, able to attack or block. The card, I think, just is extremely undervalued. So I played Trespass, and originally Temporal Trespass, which is not on Arena, was sold to me kind of as a way to break the mirror because you just get to take multiple turns or an extra turn to kind of beat the mirror. It was sold to me as a card to beat some of the harder matchups like Niv or Blue-White or something like that. Every time I came across Trespass in my matchups over the course of the weekend, it just seemed like not the thing I wanted to be doing or spending my mana on. It was either just a time walk with nothing on the board or anything like that, or it's just like a poor use of my graveyard compared to casting a treasure cruise if I had both in my hand at the same time. And it seems like the most important card was Memory, actually, just to create a lot of pressure early and keep them off balance with just like some of your cheap removal and the fact that their cards are unwieldy and expensive. I'm hoping to improve some of those matchups that Trespass is supposed to cover, like Niv and Blue-White, by just playing some additional number of negates or diversifying my threats in the sideboard. And just kind of going a little more all-in on Eidetic Memory. Galvanic Iteration, I think, was okay. I still think it is a lot less important than something like Eidetic Memory. I even had my one Phoenix opponent, I think that was my round 5 Phoenix opponent. In the first game, they Galvanicked a cruise, and they flashbacked Galvanic and cruised again a few turns later. They were up 12 cards on me, I think, and I still killed them with just a 7/6 Phoenix because they couldn't piece together the cards to block or just kill it. And they just ended up dying with all the cards in their hand. And so I'm pretty into Proft's Eidetic Memory. If some of our best starts involve milling multiple Phoenixes and bringing them back early, giving us another really powerful start in Shredder into Memory and kind of maximizing on that and trying to lean into that as hard as you can, I think is where I want to be, because those starts just seem extremely strong, and Memory at the same time lets you dodge Graveyard Hate, which a lot of people want to use against you to kind of stop or slow down your cruises, or exile your Phoenixes, keep you from bringing any of those back, or kind of neutering your fiery impulses, that kind of thing. And I think the fact that this just ignores all of that is really, really strong in regards to being able to sideboard effectively and kind of ignore whatever they're kind of bringing in. Like if I have a Shredder memory start and they lead with a Leyline of the Void, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I've had that happen at least once on a ladder. And then sideboard wise, Drake was pretty good. Got into some weird play pattern things with Ashiok, where a lot of games in the mirrors came down to milling. One thing was people were playing Ashiok on turn 3, milling themselves naturally, which is what you're supposed to do with the card a lot of times. But then I ended up playing my Ashiok on turn 3 and just milling them as well. So this way, because I'm already priced into, using it at least once, and I don't think it's worth targeting myself because I'm never going to get to use those cards because they're going to use their Ashiok again. So I kind of just think, I'll just mill you as well. Because I know games earlier on in the day when I started doing this later on in the day, came down to decking. Like multiple games were very close just because of that. Going on, I had a Pyromancer versus Iconoclast discussion with my friend the day prior, and I explained why people weren't on Iconoclast sooner, and at this point, it was, I think the pros for Pyromancer for Iconoclast outweighed the cons because there weren't a lot of things that were just non-creature spells as opposed to instant sorceries in the deck at the time, and Rending Volley was a little more common, which this is a target for, along with Drake being a target for Rending Volley. So, but now at this point, it feels a lot more like, now that memory is such an important part of the deck to me, and Ashiok being present in the sideboard or sometimes main deck, Iconoclast I think largely outweighs Pyromancer almost every time. It's no harder to cast. It's only more difficult to cast if you're playing Pathway on red twice, and I don't think you ever really do that. I've never had a double red Pathway unless it was my 8th land. What else? Anger of the Gods is pretty good all day, as you would expect. It's a 3 damage Wrath. The Exile never came up because my matchup spread was pretty low. It was pretty narrow. Playing 7 matches and only playing against 4 unique decks is not really, broad enough to really get a read on Anger. However, it was good in the mono red matchup. My opponent went like 1 drop, and I was able to anger them away. So that seems pretty worthwhile to me, at least having some sweeper. We're going to go to the deck we're going to be playing tonight, and I will discuss the variations I'm going to be making. So I think that's mostly it. Drake is just a good mid-range threat. I was only able to bring this in against Niv and Esper because I don't think it's good enough for the mirror. Not in that it's bad once it enters the battlefield, but I think the fact that you have to put a 4-mana sorcery speed blue card on the stack against a matchup where Mystical Dispute is a pretty easy to cast answer. Also, just dying to a Lightning Axe is good for you on cards, but bad for you kind of on attempting to stabilize and kind of like how you're pacing your game. So I really like the card, but I just don't think it's worth playing in the mirror. If you can get it through and stick it in the mirror, it's obviously going to be good, but I'm just not sold on it otherwise in that matchup. I think the opportunity cost is just really high. Beacon Bolt almost cut it in order to be able to play more 2-mana counter magic. I was going to play the second negate and the Aether Gust if someone I trust I was talking to, like right before the tournament started. I was trying to ask like, hey, what should I play Beacon Bolt? What should I do? Like, how do I fit the Beacon Bolt back in the deck? And they said basically just cut one of the other 2-mana cards. I brought it in the mirror a lot, and I think it was pretty good there. I'm not sure. I think I brought it in the Niftalite matchup. I don't know if that is correct or if I even did. I definitely sideboarded poorly in that matchup. I took out too many Lightning Axes when he had way too many good targets for it, and I just didn't really think about it. What else? Okay, so yeah, so there was playing Phoenix, and Phoenix was fun. Now, however, after this, I started working on a different deck. We're going to go over here. Okay, so this is where I'm at with this, more or less. I'm at 61 cards. I still have to cut something. So once you get Trespass out of the deck, your game 1 deck just just naturally fits the Gigantha restrictions. Prankster, the adventure side, doesn't count. Everything else is single pip because you're a lot of 1-mana cards, which naturally just conforms to the Gigantha restriction of no card in your starting deck has more than one of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. Gigantha is mostly just a 5-mana 5/5, but it's also a card you can put into your hand for nearly free. Notably very good with Ledger Shredder and just having a spell that you may or may not care about to discard. And the point of this list is to maximize eidetic memory and cut kind of a lot of these other one-ofs in the deck, like the Galvanic Iteration and the Trespass, in order to play as many memories as possible. 4 might be too many, but because I'm trying to play this third Spell Pierce a little bit, I also want to play another Fiery Impulse because I think the metagame is like pretty aggressive. It's really hard to beat the mono red decks if you don't have all of the impulses or a lot of impulses early. Hold on, taking a drink. The problem with Gigantha, though, is in a regular kind of blue-red Phoenix sideboard, there's a lot of the double pips. There's Ashiok, Crackling Drake, and Anger. So I had to figure out how to like kind of maneuver and figure out a way to get around that. So we go to the sideboard. We're going higher on Third Path Iconoclast because I think it's generally just pretty good with this kind of all these cheap spells, because you're a lot lower on the more expensive stuff like Trespass or Galvanic, which requires a little bit more setup to do. So, and we're still in the 3 disputes because I think they're very important in matchups like the Mirror and in some other matchups like any of the blue-based control decks, which I still think might be pretty tough. We're on the 2 negates. We've replaced Ashiok with Hearse, which I'm still not entirely sold on there. I might end up cutting those for another card that I was thinking about in the car today. We have the Beacon Bolt still because sometimes you just need it. The way it was described to me before the event Saturday was it's the only card that does this, and when you need it, you really need it. So I'm definitely comfortable with the 1. Having Jumpstart is also just gravy. And then we are replacing the Anger with Ill-Timed Explosion, which not only draws 2 cards in order to synergize with the eidetic memory, but also you have some pretty expensive cards that you want to discard, like Phoenix, that can deal your damage to everything. Worst case scenario, you can also discard a Treasure Cruise just to hit everything for 8 if you need like something closer to a full Wrath. Gigantha also costs 5 and can be discarded to the Ill-Timed Explosion. Put it in your hand on turn 3, turn 4, just cast the explosion, discard it, and you can keep the good cards in your hand. Another grindy tool, a grindy card that I was kind of thinking about a little more in order to kind of replace the role of the Galvanic Iteration. So in the matchups where you want to go long and copying a Treasure Cruise is something you're actively interested in doing, I think Ral Storm Conduit is possibly also a good solution and good thing to have access to. It's really good with all these kind of like cheap cantrips that we're already playing, like Sleight of Hand and Opt and Consider. All the cheap removal that we're trying to cast in order to bring back Phoenixes, it's just kind of cleans up Planeswalkers and clean up Ashiok in the Mirror. You can clean up a lot of these Planeswalkers in the blue-white matchup, like Wandering Emperor, which kind of end up being really low loyalty when they're coming down. I want 2 copies. I'm not sure what to cut because I think this card has a lot of potential. Even just copying Lightning Axe is pretty nice, and you get to deal damage each time. So like it helps with the kind of goal of the memory deck where you can kind of become very aggressive very quickly. He also goes up to a pretty high loyalty the moment he comes down if you're going to +2 him right away, so, which is Scry 1, which is not super major. It's not very special. It might help when you're trying to chain together cantrips, though, which, you know, his passive kind of goes with. I think this card might just be pretty underplayed and pretty overlooked in general, especially when you have effects that are really good to just, you know, copy. This card might also be good with Temporal Trespass, so regular versions of Phoenix might want to look into this as well. I have seen results on MTGO where people are playing the 5-mana Guilds of Ravnica Ral, which is like it's 5 mana, it's plus do like a sort of sleight of hand where the other card goes in your graveyard. -3 to shoot a creature for instants and sorceries. It's kind of like Beacon Bolt. And the ult is get a emblem, which is like, it's good. I think the emblem is like draw 2 cards, deal 5 damage to something when you cast an instant or sorcery. 5 mana is a lot more of an ask. And I know I was getting down on Crackling Drake for being a 4 mana blue sorcery speed card in the mirror. But I think Drake is a lot easier to answer because the Lightning Axes also can take care of it along with Mystical Disputes. With Ral, you can play it on turn 5, hold up Dispute to dispute back. And if they don't, then you just get to instantly either copy a 1 mana card like Cruise, or you get to just sit on your Planeswalker and plus it and have up removal or the dispute still. So I think it's a little easier to protect because there's very few things that will target Planeswalkers in at least the blue-red matchup or any of like the red-black matchup besides like Bitter Triumph. So the more I've thought about Hearse, the more I like it in theory, but I just don't really think this is what you're interested in a lot of times. I really wasn't interested in Graveyard Hate quite often. I'm sure this will change once I, play more games. But one of the cards that kind of, I think, gets a lot better if you have Eidetic Memory in your deck is Prismari Command, which I already kind of have wanted to shatter things lately, and copying this with Ral seems pretty good. Copying a lot of your like post-board cards with Ral seems pretty good, like Beacon Bolt or even Ill-Timed kind of is nice because you don't have to discard. You can just use the copy as a divination. But I think Prismari Command might be pretty good because if you target yourself with this in your main phase, it just automatically gives you 2 extra cards to grow something with your memory. And it lets you, at the end of their turn, after they've Ashiok'd you, put cards in your graveyard if you're trying to cruise through it. So we're going to try 2 of these. Oh, hold on. So, and I'm not going to put the other Ral in yet, but if we draw him and play him and he's good, I will find spots. Maybe I just go down to back to 2 Iconoclasts and play 2 Ral. Okay, because I do kind of want a Galvanic iteration in the deck again, but I just think that it needs too much. It's kind of like too heavy in your hand. It just like doesn't do anything. So let's just craft these memories and get into some games. Oh, we're at 61 still. So what is our worst card? I want to say it's just the 3rd Spell Pierce. I don't really want to get too bogged down with them, even though when I need it, I really need it. But let's just run with this. Let's just see what happens. Blue-red Proft. I've been kind of semi-jokingly, semi-not calling it next level Phoenix because I think just having access to a companion and some of these other cards, like Memory, I think that kind of is just extremely overlooked. I think a lot of people are just going back to what Phoenix looked like, I guess, at the Pro Tour at Murders of Karlov Manor, which I'm not entirely sure why, because every time I've played with the Eidetic Memory card, it just is really seems so far above a lot of the other cards, and it seems so important in a lot of the matchups. Turning a Treasure Cruise into 3 damage is really strong, I think, really powerful. I think it requires playing a little differently, but I think it is very much worth the effort and planning around it. Okay, so what do we got here? I think this is fine. We can just like start cantripping right away, and we have removal just in case. I'm not really into double steam vents. I wish one was a Spirebluff Canal. All right, so there's a Blood Crypt. So I think I'm going to 7/6 Phoenix Gang is in the house. I am going to be looking for a Spell Pierce or a Threat. So I'm going to hold the Sleight of Hand here because I'm assuming I'm going to get Thoughtseized. And if they don't, I can consider. Okay, so they play this. I think it's Grixis Metamorphic Alteration or just Grixis Control. So we're going to consider here. I'm going to put the Phoenix in the graveyard. Picklock. So they don't look aggressive, so I feel a little okay starting to shock. I'm gonna pick lock at the end of their turn and try and go cantrip into one of these cantrips, finding another one. So this way I can get started with the Phoenixes. Okay, so it looks like Grixis, creativity, I want to say. Only because of the deuce, it could just easily be Grixis control. Alright, so there's a Thoughtseize. I'm gonna pick lock here, just to get the cards in my graveyard. Because I doubt they're main decking Hearse to kind of attack it. Okay, we missed on the pick lock, which is strange. But it's kind of whatever, it's fine. Obviously not ideal, but I don't feel too disadvantaged right now. They took my Consider, which stinks, but I drew another one, which is a bummer because we would have been able to get the Phoenix back already. I want to try and get the Phoenix back this turn so I can use memory and hopefully find a Treasure Cruise for the following turn. I'm going to take the Spirebluff Canal. Oh, I can just play Picklock this turn and go Memory, Consider, make a decent-sized Picklock. So we're going to do that. So yeah, this might be the Metamorphic Alteration Archfiend deck. Which means I'm... Okay, it's Kroxa. Alright. I'm just going to discard a Steam Vents. Okay. I'm going to lead with some of the cantrips, because if I find another one, I can just bring back a Phoenix. And if I don't, I can Memory. So we're going to start with a Consider. Fiery Impulse. I don't think that's what we're interested in here. Got another Impulse. We're going to opt here. Lightning Axe, put that on the bottom. There's a Ledger Shredder. Also notably good with Eidetic Memory. So we're going to play the Memory here. I think we're going to get Counterspelled. Okay. Attack for 1. They're at 15. So I've shocked twice and took 2 off Kroxa. Alright, so they're holding up 5. I don't know what they're going to do with that. Because they could have escaped the Kroxa? No, they're short. Okay. I think I'm going to buy Gigantha here instead of overextending my Shredder. So we're going to attack. Oh, no, I can't. Because I do think they are the Metamorphic Alteration deck, so I need to hold up Lightning Axe Impulse. So I'm going to play Canal and discard the Shredder. Yeah, they're trying to assemble the 2 cards. So that's what I think this means. Especially because it's the look at... Yeah. Not exposing anything to me either. They only know about the axe, they don't know about the impulse. Okay, so they are escaping. That is fine. I'm going to discard the Shredder here, I think. Or do I just kill the Kroxa and assume they're not on the combo deck anymore? Because I don't think I can win otherwise. I think I just have to do this. Discard target, because I don't think I can beat the Kroxa otherwise, because it's just 6. It's a 6/6. It's kind of at that break point. And then I'm going to do this, take 3 from the Kroxa trigger, making me discard nothing. And then they're back to... Okay, so there's a Phoenix. So I can play Phoenix, attack for 4, and then what? Because I don't think putting Gigantha in my hand is worth it here. Okay, so they're going to counterspell that. But that's fine because it puts it in the graveyard, so I can just chain cantrips now. Okay, so they have a nickel bolus. Hand or permanent they control. I'll exile Island, I guess. And attempt to chain some cantrips together. They only have Watery Grave. Okay, so what am I doing here? I'm going to attack. I don't think I'm putting Gigantha in my hand. Maybe I will. Yeah, I think I will. I'm just going to attack them. Because I think my best bet is still chaining cantrips. Yeah, we're going to put this in my hand. And then we're going to be very happy to board into Mystical Disputes and Negates. Card in hand or permanent I control? I think this is just where I exile the Gigantha. My other option, by the way, was use Otawara to bounce the Prankster, so I can have another 2-mana card. I think I'm just going to have to attempt to Treasure Cruise into some relevant cards, which at this point in the game I don't think is likely. I just don't think the Cruise is going to resolve is the problem. The Deuce, okay. I was wondering maybe I should have played the Otawara first to play around like Shark Typhoon for a 1/1. I think I'm just going to get double Make Disappeared here. You also could have Shark Typhoon for a 1/1 and casualtied it. So maybe I should have played the Otawara first. Especially since I'm probably going to play it anyway. I think they're deciding if they want to crack the clue. Alright. I think this is the set of draws I needed in order to have a shot. So I'm going to play this, and I'm going to Treasure Cruise again. Exile Cruise, Vent, Slight, Ledger Shredder, Island, Hall, River Glide, and now I can try and draw a cantrip to get 2 birds back. Or if I draw a red removal spell, I can Lightning Axe or Fire Impulse the Picklock Prankster. If I get Lightning Axe, I can discard this Phoenix. Okay, so they countered that one? It's kind of weird. Alright, ult's at 8, so I think I just have to keep doing this. Attack them. I don't know why they countered that one. Exile a card in my hand, so I'm just going to exile this Otawara. I can exile the Picklock, actually. It might be better to exile this. Because this plus 2 Phoenixes... I'm going to exile the Otawara. Because this plus 2 birds is actually 7 damage. They've used this. They've played a land again. They have Croxa. So I'm going to discard a Phoenix to it. Hopefully they don't exile my graveyard with Maestro's Charm. Okay, so... Blue. Blue. We're going to mill 4. Can't play a land to play around. Okay, we get an Opt. Play an Opt. Just need one more spell, hoping this resolves. They keep getting priority because they have at least a clue. Not really thinking about anything in their hand even, because I don't think I can beat anything in their hand. I think they're trying to figure out if they crack the clue, what can they draw? So, because I think they might be out of Make Disappears. Oh, it just resolved. Okay, so we're going to put the Spell Pierce on the bottom, hope for the best. That I think is good enough. Cruise. 1 mana card. Opt. Coast. Shredder. Proft. Cruise. Consider. 7 cards. Which is my 3rd spell. Which should be enough, I think. Hopefully I don't have Maestro's Charm again to blow me out. Because I think it exiles graveyards. Alright, looks like they're coming back. Alright. It looks like we get to try and kill them. Bounce one. Do they have Fatal Push or something? Okay, they do. Which means I'm going to exile Canal from my hand. I'm going to discard Phoenix from my hand, go to 4. Hoping I don't just get double Croxid or triple Croxid or something. Yodawara was pretty good for them. Especially since Croaks is a legend. Oh no, my birds. Oh, that's so bad for me. Did could they not? Oh. Yeah, I don't think I was supposed to discard the Phoenix there. Yeah, I agree. I should not have, I'm going to discard the Riverglide pathway so I can at least... Yeah, I shouldn't have discarded the Phoenix there. Okay, so... Blue, attempt to Phoenix off again. I can check to see if it's possible, but I don't... Impulse? And I think I'm just at a dead end. I think I should have played this first. Oh well, I messed up. I shouldn't have discarded the Phoenix there. I should have held it so I could play it from hand. That was really bad on my part. Okay, so what are we doing here? I want the Row. I want the Disputes and the Negates. I don't know about the third paths. The Impulses are just dead weight here. They're easy cuts. Lightning Axe doesn't really get a lot done. It looks like regular blue... What's it called? Blue-black? So, or Grixis. Axes seem a little soft, but they could just be trying to juke, so I think I have to leave some number in. The rest of these seem fine. Spell Pierce I'm pretty tempted to just cut because I think they're gonna... I think things are gonna scale out of Spell Pierce range. Do I want third path? I don't think this is a third path matchup because they are a deadly cover-up deck. So I think I'm gonna go with this. I'm going to play first. This hand doesn't do anything. This hand does something. I think they're going to slap. I think you keep Pierce on the play for... Yes. I think you are correct. I think I should have kept the 2. I'm glad I kept at least the 1. All right, so we're going to go Hall. We're going to pass. I'm not going to consider here. I'm going to try and set up turn 3 with Shredder. So we're going to play Island so we don't have to make the pathway decision yet. And I'm just going to try and use Shredder plus Consider to kind of set up something interesting. Or something actually threatening. Go to my turn. Played on the red side. Play Shredder. And then I'm going to Consider. Push and response, that's fine. And we're going to discard the Riverglide. And we're going to graveyard the Spire Bluff. And we're going to get a Phoenix. I'm going to opt here. Put the opt on the... I'm going to keep the opt on top. Because at this point I'm just trying to fuel this cruise while looking for a land. I'll take Hall, because I don't really have a ton else to do right now anyway. And I think Hall is important in this type of a matchup. So we have 6 cards in the graveyard. None of them are Phoenixes. Maestro's Charm, they're doing top 5. Oh, it doesn't exile graveyards. I thought it did. So it's Lightning Helix, 5 damage to a dude or a planeswalker. And look at the top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, no information there. It looks just like Grixis Control. Croxa. I think I will discard a Phoenix here. I could discard the Dispute and Cruise off of it, but I think I want to hold up the Dispute, so I think I'm just going to discard a Phoenix. Lightning Axe. I could just pay 2 mana here. I'm gonna cruise off of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pay the mana. If they negate here, I get to dispute. I'll point out there's a situation where Duelist is way worse than Shredder. Yeah. Alright, so they're going to do that. I think I want the cards, so I think I'm just going to be disputing the negate. Hoping to draw a cantrip so I can get back 1 Phoenix. And I did. I got a sleight of hand. I think since they're tapped out, I might pick lock here. Because I have a chance to get a little bit more. Because if I hit a second Phoenix in the graveyard, that's pretty good. I got a Spell Pierce, which isn't ideal, but not terrible. So here we go, starting attacking. And I get to lead the next turn with Sleight. Or I can just hold up Spell Pierce, play an Arclight Phoenix. Alright, so they're escaping the Croxa. Can I race? So I'm killing them in 2 attacks. They're killing me in 3? I want to say 3. I think this is where I can discard a Lightning Axe, because I think I'm going to hard cast the Phoenix, because it looks like they might be stumbling a little bit and leaning on this Croxa. We also have the option the following turn to start getting defensive while the Phoenixes go to town. So I think I'm going to do this. Just hold up Spell Pierce here. And then I still have attackers hanging back. Attack. I think I get rid of the Sleight. Because the Shredder and the Prankster are how I rebuild post-Wrath, and I want to keep the Spell Pierce. Because now they're just under a bunch of pressure. So they're going to Deluge here before damage. I'm not sure why. I think I let them. Okay. Spell Pierce on the draw. Do you think I should just cut the Spell Pierce on the draw? Both of them? Or just leave the one? So it gives me 6 pieces of permission. Since they seem to be a little more reliant on Croxa than I think I thought, I can always bring in the Beacon Bolt. Because it is the only removal spell in my deck that can kill Croxa, and I get 2 uses out of it. And them repeatedly needing to commit 4 mana on their turn to Croxa, I think might benefit me if I can get ahead a little bit, which I don't think it's impossible for me to get a little ahead. I think I'm going to try that, only because Pierce seems kind of bad on the draw. All right, I'm going to try it. Pierce isn't going to hit anything on the draw if they get greedy. Yeah. Definitely going to fall short. Okay. This looks pretty good to me. I get to just kind of play it slow. I'm not at risk of drawing additional Lightning Axes really, and I get to have Picklock. I think I'm going to keep... This hand is a little iffy, not a lot of cantrips, but Free the Fae can carry a lot of weight. Also, my mana is really nice. Okay, hand got a lot worse, but I don't think a 6-card hand would really fare too much better. They took the Fae, and I drew the bad Spire Bluff. So I think I'm just going to go... Yeah, I'm just going to go Canal, Canal, Canal. Even though I want to play tapped steam vents into 2 canals, I think it's just better for me to go 1, 2, 3. I'm going to sandbag the memory here because I don't have anything to put the counter on. What are they going to do on turn 4 that I don't like? I think I can wait a turn to buy Gigantha. If I play that, they get some information. I think I'm supposed to just slight here. He's going to save us. And we're going to, I guess, give him the information on this. Unfortunately. I'm going to save the opt for a memory turn. Alright, so what are they going to do on turn 5? Probably Bolus. So I think I'm going to hold up Picklock and Dispute at the same time, because the following turn I get to go Picklock into memory and start setting up that way. So I'm going to play the Steam Vents tapped. Because if they play a black card, I need to counter the Mystical Dispute. Already is going to be 3 mana. I can't double spell anyway, so I think Jeggy is a mom. Jeggy has antlers. Deluge. I really want to counter this. This feels bad to counter, but I think I want to. I'm not 100% on this play, but I think they wanted that. They also can't escape Kroxa right now because they don't have a second red. So I'm hoping that really just messed them up. Okay, so there's the Dragon God. I'm going to try and opt. That was definitely bait, and I fell for it. Draw a card. I'm going to exile, I think, Vents. So what do I want here? I think I want, like, I want to play better. But I have not been doing that. Alright, Negate's showing up a little late. Alright, we're going to try and consider here into... Do I have Phoenixes at all? I don't think so. No. I'm going to put this in the trash. Alright, so I found a Phoenix. So I'm going to play Island Prankster, I think. Draw a card and I exile something. I'm going to get rid of this Lightning Axe. Okay, what do I do here? I'm going to lead with the Coast to play around any soft permission, and probably because I'm going to play it anyway. I think this is just going to get negated. Yeah. So we're just going to play a Phoenix, and I think we're going to both send at the Dragon God. Just try and get this off the table, because I think I can recoup if we can get rid of the Bolus. Alright, so there's a Shark Typhoon I was thinking about earlier. This is probably going to kill Phoenix. And kind of blunt a lot of this. I'm going to get rid of the pathway when they plus the Dragon God. Pathway. I think I definitely messed this up by fighting over the Deluge. It just kind of did exactly what they wanted. Yeah, I think this game is done. But losing a game because I messed up, I think it's a lot more okay than the alternative of just the deck sucks. Four, that's fine. Exile a... I think I'm going to get rid of the island. I can always play this for a 6th land, and I don't think 6 is that much more than 5. So there's a Phoenix. I'm going to play... Alright, well I can't play around Make Disappear regardless, so I'm just going to jam. Okay. I think I'm just going to get Deadly Cover-Upped this coming turn. Alright, so they're just going to push creature and Edict. Oh, okay, sure. I don't think I can come back, but bleh. How embarrassing. Okay, they can escape it now. Rough game, but it's my fault. Alright, that's enough for me. Next one. Did I have fun? No, I always click no. Okay. Let's try again. Who is messaging me? Why am I getting pinged? I'm getting pinged about the... Okay. Alright, some people know what I'm getting pinged about. Every deck in this format is bad. And that's... You know. Not every deck in this format is bad. And if they are all bad, which they do all kind of feel pretty bad, it's fine because they're all bad. We're going to re-queue. I don't know why it's taking a minute to find a game. Yeah, I did see it. I mean, the cards are kind of frustrating because they all don't line up super well. You have to be doing some specific things, I think, to take advantage of the good removal. Because I think the problem really is just like the removal's really weak and the threats are all really strong because a lot of the threats show up in Modern. So, but they show up in Modern and they aren't really pushed out of Modern. So I think the threats just require good removal. Because the threats have to be good enough to stand up in Modern to the really, really good removal. In this format, the removal's a lot worse, but the threats are all the same, so I'm going to put that in the graveyard. So I think people just assume that this is, you know, not the best. What do I want to do here? So they're representing Fatal Push, so I don't think I really want to just play into Fatal Push. I think I'm just going to consider at the end of their turn and try and look for a red source. If I play Shredder, though, I get the best start, which is the Shredder into Memory Consider start. It's a lot worse in these black matchups. I have a feeling this is Waste Not. So maybe I don't want to play into the... I don't want to play into Fatal Push, and I want to be able to consider into Spell Pierce. Yeah, okay, it's Waste Not. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay... This is also really bad against Shredder, which is extremely annoying. So I don't want to trigger my Shredder here. So I'm just going to consider again, put a memory in the graveyard. Slight. I'm going to... I can sequence badly to not trigger my shredder. I'll take the pick lock. Play Odawara. Get a guy on the table. Kind of funny if he double spelled on me. I'm so dead. Thank God I have 2 memories. Oh, he took the pick lock. Okay, so he wanted a 2/2. I wonder if when you're playing Waste Not, if your decision on what to discard is informed by the presence of Waste Not. Like, do you want a creature? Choose the creature instead of just going by the context of the hand. Anyway. I'm going to cast Memory. Draw a card. I'm not going to consider here. I'm going to hold up the Spell Pierce. I'm going to put a counter on Shredder. Because I think if I can get creatures on the board and hold up Pierce, I can use Connive to push more damage than the Waste Not will benefit from. So here's the Fatal Push. Here's the Spell Pierce. Here's my second spell. And I'm not even profiting off the memory. I think I can safely discard the other memory here. It might be better just to hold it because it draws a card. I think I'm just going to get rid of it. Give him a card. Alright, so there's... And I have these creatures to attempt to race, so it's not all lost. Ugh. So it was happening regardless. Yeah, Planeswalkers in this format are so annoying. Alright, so it looks like they're probably going to take the Consider. Yeah. Alright, so what am I going to do here? It's going to be Pick Lock. Pick Lock into Cantrip. Into... Well, I have a tap land now, so... So I think I'm going to free... I'm playing this, I think, regardless. So it's Pick Lock. But if it's going to be Prankster, I'll just do it at their end step. I can pick up the Gigantha, but I think that's bad. Yeah, the worst part about Pioneer really feels like the removal. The removal just doesn't line up well. Discard the Impulse. They discarded an extra Sanitarium. I'll discard the Canal. They can have black. I think giving them the mana a lot of times off the Sanitarium is going to be the best thing. Ugh. I'll hide one of these in exile. I'll take Slide. I'm getting a lot of matchups that I'm glad I didn't have to see on yesterday. Another reason why I wanted the 3 Spell Pierce, honestly. We're gonna play Prankster. I think they just have a Fatal Push. What do I want here? I guess Steam Vents is fine. So I get to play it. I think I want another creature, though, to... Because they have to use the Liliana to Edict, I think, this turn. This lets me cast Gigantha, and it gets to go immediately into play. So I can't discard it. I think they're just going to push me. But assuming they don't have push, because I think I have to play as if they don't have push. I don't have anything to discard to the Liliana. Give him another token. The Buster. I'm just going to discard a card that they'll make up the Buster. Okay. So what is my best bet here? I don't want to put Jagantha in my hand yet. Maybe I just do that on 8 mana, which isn't extremely appealing. But it might still be the best bet. Alright, draw this card. Discard a Phoenix. And they discarded a Go Blank. So maybe they have a second Go Blank. Just to exile my graveyard. They're probably regretting discarding that, because now I can cantrip a couple times into cruising. I think I'm pretty far behind though. All right, there's the second Go Blank, or the third Go Blank, I guess. Okay. I'm going to concede there because shock block with Hall is not good enough. All right. What do we want here? Ral. Negates, I think, are pretty good. Impulses seem pretty bad. The Prismari command seems kind of fine. The looting, not so much, but shattering a Bankbuster and being able to target a Planeswalker seems kind of nice. Axes, I think I can go to 3. I still want to keep some number in the deck because when they play Shieldred, I'm really going to need it. I can bring in the Beacon Bolt, but it's like, can't handle Planeswalkers, so I'm not sure how good it is. I don't know if they're going to bring in Meat Hook Massacre. If they do, Iconoclast seems bad. If they don't, Iconoclast seems good. What are they doing? What are they doing? I think I can trim a Phoenix and a Cruise if I bring in Iconoclast. Because I think this might be a decent... I'm going to keep the Cruises. I think this is a decent trim on Phoenix matchup. Go to 2 Phoenixes. Keep the Profts. Trim a slight because I'm lower on Phoenix. Keep those. Only 2 third paths. I think I should be on all the third paths, but I don't know what else to cut. It's possible I just go to 2 axes instead of 3. I think my Ral's just going to get Thoughtseize, but I will keep this. It kind of forces them to do something about the picklock as well. I'm going to play the Hall, and I'm going to go Canal. Hopefully going picklock into something. The rest, probably taking the Ral. They're probably going to be weighing the option of Ral versus Cruise. No. I'm just going to pass. I'm going to try and get something out of my Shredder. I don't really have a good follow-up for Shredder either. So we're just going to free. We're going to pick up Consider. Alright, so we found both birds already, which is kind of weird. I don't think I want to expose it. Do I want to put anything on the table? I think I'll put a picklock on the table, though. If they want to go for the throat with this, they can. I'm going to hold the Consider. Because hopefully I can rescue the Phoenix from the graveyard. And if they want to Fatal Push a Prankster, I think that's okay. If I... They might be tight on black mana. Okay, so they're just going to go blank me. I'm going to discard the Cruise and the Pathway, I want to say. If I draw a land, I'll play Phoenix. Discard the Cruise. Discard the Pathway, because I think I'm decently likely to just draw another land. And just do some hard cast Phoenix stuff. Oh, I can always consider into it, too. Yeah, we're going to consider. There's memory. There's the memory I want. So I think I'm going to keep that and see if I can spike a land off the top to go Shredder Memory. No. I can make the sequencing kind of bad if I can draw an untapped land here too. No. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, they look like they might be tight on black. So I think they're going to hit the hall. And I should have all my islands. Yeah, okay. Here's where I'm going to pick lock. Find, consider. Okay, cool. I thought I missed. So I'm going to just try and set up something. Try and find a land off this consider plus connive. Discard a memory here. Thinking about discarding the memory, it kind of opens me up to getting Invoke Despaired and losing my current memory, but I'm hoping I can find a Negator or Spell Pierce in time. I think I want to keep this because I'm pretty dead to a Shieldred if they untap because now they have double black. Alright, so I have my 4/6. They're going to need Fatal Push. I'm wondering how many they kept in. Because they clearly kept some amount. Extinction Event. Okay. That's like not the best looking Extinction Event. So I can Prismari loot treasure to try and find a land and then use the treasure in the land to play a pick lock. All right, so we're gonna do draw 2, treasure, me. Okay, I can discard an axe. I think I'm gonna keep the other Prismari, and I think I need to be a little more mana efficient. So I think I'm gonna discard the Phoenix here and just go from there. What am I gonna... Are they invoking? I think they're invoking. Okay, it's Ash. Okay, so they're gonna mill me. Get rid of that Phoenix I discarded. So they want to activate the Gaia Reach here. So their hand must be kind of bad. I don't know why they're activating this last. We're gonna discard... I think Prismari Command now, because I think I'm gonna go Shredder. And try and just ignore a Bank Buster. Alright, so they want to get rid of the second Sanitarium. Okay, so Shredder. Hopefully they're just not gonna Wrath me again. So I don't really think I can do too much about that. It might have been correct to play the Prankster instead of the second Shredder. Discard Opt. Counters on the other one to play around removal. So what do they have? They have a castle going. They have field. There's Trespasser, which is kind of past due. I do think I'm going to be attacking the Ashiok. Alright, yeah, exile the Opt. That's fine. Okay, they're going to mill me again. Exiles, not a lot. S-Tax. Go to my turn. Third path. Okay. So I can go third path Prankster, play directly into... I think we're going to play Prankster to try and double spell. And I think I'm going to cash in this Lightning Axe on the Trespasser. Oh, that discards my whole hand, though. Sacrifice a non-token. I can negate this, get my second spell, which might be worth it, and just let myself be a little vulnerable to Wraths and Invokes. So we're going to negate. I think I just need these counters. Discard a Pierce. Discard Cruise. I think we're just not casting that anymore, and I think we're just riding these. And I'm going to put the counters on the Prankster to further play around Fatal Push, and I'm going to send both at Ashiok because it's so annoying. And I'm also just close to getting milled because this plays around Fatal Push. So if they play Shieldred, I have it kind of covered. If they play Thoughtseize, I can Lightning Axe here. So I can keep one card or lose both cards. I think I'm going to let them take the Axe. I'm kind of inclined to let them take the Axe, but I also just want to get the Trespasser off the table. If they have Shieldred, they have Shieldred. Because they're going to take the Axe regardless. Target, yes, pay, auto pay, discard. Oh, I can't discard. Oh my god. Don't look. I forgot I have to discard 2 cards. Don't look. Okay. So we got the 2 damage. Don't look. Okay, so they're at 16. They're gonna gain some life. We're gonna put Gigantha. Alright, so yeah. As long as I don't get Wrathed, I'm in kind of an okay spot. Now their guy is big. They're going to go to 9. I still have 9 power. If they Extinction Event, I'm dead. Go to 5. Okay, they Liliana'd. Sacrifice a creature. I guess I'll sacrifice Picklock. We'll exile 2 creatures. Third path Prankster. They have creatures, right? No, those are the last ones, so they can't gain life anymore. Go to 12. So I can either play Gigantha. Oh, I can double spell. Okay. I think we're fine, despite my best efforts in attempting to lose this game. Take Treasure Cruise and I can cruise. Right? Well, okay. Alright, so I tried really hard to lose, but I still won. Okay. I think I want all of the third paths. I want all the Pierces. I think my goal against the Black Werewolf is just to block it. I'm going to trim a memory so I can have 3 third paths because this is, I think, my best way to beat Liliana. Because it seemed really good game 1. I want to put an Arc Light back in. And then what am I going to cut? Just go down on Prismari. I think I'm just going to go to 1 Prismari after this game. I like 2 ofs a lot. I'm not a 1 of pilled yet. This hand seems kind of good if a little bloated on lightning axes, but at least I won't die to Shieldred. I'm going to keep. And I'm going to hold off on cantripping right away. So I'm going to play this tapped. Next turn. Ugh. Alright, so I'm going to go blue land, go. If they just try and jam Liliana, I guess I'll negate it. Otherwise, I get to consider. Please play Liliana. Let me negate. Alright, well, I can't negate that. I'm going to lightning axe it, I think. Ugh, I can't, because that's just so bad. We're going to consider. And we're going to put... Profits isn't a bad find. Alright, so I probably should have let this resolve first. This is a mess. This whole night honestly feels like a mess. I will take the land. And I will... I think I'm just gonna hold up negate again. Alright. So Spell Pierce definitely looks important on the draw. Also why I went 3 copies. Phoenix, so I can Lightning Axe, discard 5 cards to get the creature off the table, or I can hold up the axe trying to hit the hive. I'm going to slight here. I guess I'll take the opt. And I think I'm going to opt looking for the 4th land. Not that. Second Phoenix, maybe not terrible. Alright, so they're just all in on Graveyard Hate. Alright, so they're just going to take the Ral. Unless they take the memory. Because the Ral I can't cast. No, they're just going to draw a card. Okay. Just checking. Playing League. Yeah, I know. These games kind of stink. Liliana. Each player discards. So this is a trap. I'm going to discard an axe. Okay, they're going to discard. They're going to exile Ral. Trying to set up, I think, for the following turn. Okay. So I need to hit a land. How do I want to do that? Do I lead on memory, try and draw into a land, or do I prankster, attempt to draw into a cantrip? I'm going to do that. I think that's my best bet. I think I have to prankster into a cantrip, which then finds me a red land, so I can axe discard 2 phoenixes. Alright, put the cantrip in the graveyard, try and draw a red land. blue land, but I can cruise? But is that enough? Maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's my third spell, so we'll get a Phoenix back. No land again. I wasn't able to axe and put another one in the graveyard. So here I can attack Liliana to keep her from edicting and eating my Phoenix. And maybe next turn. Well, next turn I can go like third path into memory and kind of slightly invalidate the Liliana. Edict to kill the Phoenix, attack with Trespasser, eat the Phoenix. Each player discards a card. I can discard the axe because I drew another axe. I drew the third axe. So they get to draw a card here. They can flashback Cling if they don't do it now. And if they don't activate Sanitarium now. Or they can castle now. Castle draw card might be fine. So here they're going to eat the bird. I think they're just going to try to go up cards on castle. So I can go third path. Shock. Axe. Target the Trespasser. Discard my Phoenix. Trigger. Trespasser ward trigger. They're going to get some tokens. Discard Phoenix. Hopefully they just don't have another way to exile my graveyard again. They have active Cling though, so I think I'm just losing the Phoenixes and have to go all in on this Iconoclast. So then I'm going to play this memory finally. Get a token, draw a card. Put my counter on a token. Then I'm going to take 4 off these zombies, hoping to untap with Iconoclast. Alright, yeah, they're going to gain 3 life off Cling. Okay, so what are they going to do here? Liliana can... Okay, so Path of Peril's just... Yeah, that's the easy answer. Another Trespasser. Okay, so we just found it on time. I think it's going to eat the last Phoenix. Yeah. Which is what I was hoping to avoid. Each player discards a card. So I'm going to discard, I guess, the Prankster. Hoping that I can Treasure Cruise my way out of this. Alright, 1, 2, cruise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, 3 lands off the top. Not entirely ideal. So we're going to play the Prankster and play a tap land. This would be good if we weren't under a Liliana, which is what I've been trying to avoid with the Iconoclast. But there's just... The red removal just doesn't clean anything up. So the Planeswalkers are really hard to beat. Alright, now I'm getting go blanked. Alright, so we're going to discard 2 Spire Bluffs. And lose, I think, 3 cards out of my graveyard. It doesn't really matter much anymore. If they didn't tap the Hive, I think I was just dead. Because they would be able to use the mana to activate the Hive. So there's another castle. I'm at 2. I draw another land. So I'm drawing a lot of the lands in the wrong order. Okay, so far, not a great night. Gonna change some stuff. This one's getting annoying, so this might be short. I haven't played against Waste Not with Phoenix yet, I don't think. I think I might have played it once. And I don't think the non-Giganta cards really did much. Maybe Drake did. Maybe that's a matchup that you really, really want Drake for. So maybe that's a reason not to play Giganta. Because Giganta is supposed to be good in those matchups where like you run out of things to do when you put the card in your hand. But Drake is also good in those same matchups. And if one breaks the other, then maybe you just don't want Giganta. At least like long term. Ooh. Okay, so we're going to go down one Prismari. So we have one Beacon, one Prismari. Let's go to Ral. Gold. Where is Ral? He's 4 mana. I don't know why I'm looking at 3 mana cards. Okay. Let's try that. Because I don't really think the main deck needs too many changes. 2 Pierce. I do still kind of want 3. But I also want the Fiery Impulse. Maybe 4 Memories, just not where it's at. This still feels like the most important card. Maybe I can go to 3. Play another Pierce. I also kind of wish I had a Brazen Borrower. Giganta breaks that though, but I wished I had a Brazen Borrower in the regular version. So I still think Ral might be good. And if I end up not playing Giganta, that's fine because then I get to play Anger the Gods again. I don't know. Trade-offs. I still like Giganta. And I still think Eidetic Memory is one of the better cards in the deck. Okay. Play first. Phoenix, Memory, some cantrips. I'm going to try and find a threat to make this Memory good. Or specifically a Ledger Shredder. I think this is fine even just casting Phoenixes. So I'm going to keep. I think I'm going to go Slight into Consider. Take Cruise instead of the 3rd Phoenix. Thoughtseize. Okay, they're going to see a hand that is kind of mid. Really hoping to find a pick lock off this Consider. Or a land. I'll take a land. Fiery Impulse is not bad. I think I'm just going to Consider here for some information. I have an Impulse, so I'm not really interested in a Lightning Axe at the moment. Okay, so apparently I want a Lightning Axe anyway. I'm just going to play this tapped because I don't know entirely what they're doing. They might be Seasons Past. In which case, I'm not sure what they're doing. Okay, Scavenging Ooze. This is pretty bad. Okay, I found the 4th Phoenix. And I am just going to Impulse here. Saving my axe for later. Because they might just be playing Shieldred on turn 4. Okay, so we found the Spire Bluff. So I'm going to probably be playing it regardless because unless I find Hall here. And I would just want to get the Memory in play. Cruise. So here's my land. 5 cards in the graveyard. So if they give me something to target with Axe, we are good. I can just... Yeah, I can cruise here. I think I'm just gonna cruise. Exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hoping to draw untapped blue land, hopefully Steam Vents. Okay. I think I'm just gonna shock here so I can represent Axe and Pierce. And now I have 2 Lightning Axes again to throw away to Phoenix, or throw Phoenixes away with. 5 mana, not doing anything. I am going to... I can slight, look for untapped land, and then put Gigantha in my hand. I'll take that. Play it on blue side, put Gigantha in my hand, and then I still get to hold up Pierce and Axe with my 8-card hand. Ugh. I was hunched over playing all day yesterday, and my neck and my shoulders are killing me. Shieldred. Okay. Which is what I've been expecting for a few turns now. We're going to discard, target at their end step, throw away a Phoenix. So I can shock again, play Gigantha, hold up Pierce Axe once more. So I think I'm going to. Or I can start playing Phoenixes, but I think I kind of want to get the Gigantha in play. Pay 2 life. Because I have an answer to their best threat. And they don't seem very aggressive otherwise. And I think I just kind of want to get the 5/5 into play. Gold Vein Hydra X equals 6. Okay. And this is just going to explode into treasures. This is so annoying. Okay. So I think I have to block because I don't think I can take 6 that many times, and it has Vigilance, so it's just going to block the Gigantha regardless. This is really cutting down on my ability to triple spell. So we're going to take 1, and then Axe here, discard bird. It's going to explode into treasures. I'm Phoenix flooding. Maybe it was correct to just play Phoenix last turn and hold Gigantha. I have 6 lands. I think the next land I'm going to play is Hall of the Storm Giants. I don't really think I need too many more. So I think I'm just going to hold 3 cards. So now they can activate Hive of the Eye Tyrant that I've blown a bunch of lightning axes and start eating birds. So maybe I shouldn't have thrown the Phoenix away with the axe. This is a losing race for me. Sentinel. Make a map. Map on the Hive. Sure. Draw land. Alright, another land. So this is definitely losing the race. I'll play a 7th land here because it seems like my graveyard is being attacked now. 1, 2, 3. Exile another bird. I'm really hoping I can draw Consider into Treasure Cruise or something. Because Consider, middle card, Cruise is 7. That's 4 cards. That makes Phoenix a 7/6. We're trying to get this out of late Fiery Impulse range. Playing another one. Alright, drawing another land. Okay, I'm just going to concede here. Okay. So this seems like a good matchup for Ral. I don't know if it's a good matchup for Negate. I think it's Beacon. I think it's a good Beacon Bolt matchup. I think I want the Negates for post-board things. I don't think it's a good Explosion matchup exactly. Maybe it is. I just don't know it. Truma Phoenix. Truma Memory. I think the spell pierces are going to scale very poorly. And I don't think there's a ton of impulse targets. Maybe we should just, yeah, I think I'm just going to do a 3-3 split on impulse versus axe. Do I want iconoclast? I don't think so. I don't think I want explosion. I think I'm just going to go with this board in the conduit, or the storm conduit. Okay. We're going to go first. I think I'm going to mulligan this just because if I miss on my first land drop, or my second land drop, I'm just kind of done. I think I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put... I'm going to keep. I'm going to put a land on the bottom. I think it's just coast. I think I'm just going to shock. Maybe it's Odawara. I think it might just be Odawara. Odawara scales pretty nicely, though. I think I'll do that. Oh, and I'm on the play. So I'm going to play Vents tapped. Alright, so we drew a Beacon Bolt, and I get to end step Prankster. Alright, so we're going to Prankster. And I'm going to pick up the negate, I think. Actually, I don't have a ton going on threat-wise, so I think I just want to keep going with Prankster. I have some nice answers. I think I'm going to take the negate. Just hold up negate for... their third turn. Sentinels, so I can lightning axe that. Okay, go to my turn. Consider, we're going to consider here. Put Slight in the graveyard. Find a Shredder. So it's not bad. Wishing I could have found another land. Next turn I'm going to try and play Shredder into Cruise, because if they do anything this turn, if they try to target the Sentinel with the map, I'm probably going to axe it. Okay, so we're going to axe here. Discard. Target. Discard the Impulse, I think, because I still have the Beacon Bolt. I kind of want all the others. I'm actually going to discard the Beacon Bolt. That might be wrong because I want to play from the graveyard and I need to delve this card, I think. So I have 7. Okay, so there's a Hearse. So I think they're going to exile with that. So maybe I should have gotten rid of the Impulse. I saw the Ooze game 1 and decided to keep that because they could follow up with an Ooze. And then I don't have creature removal, but then I'm just losing the Bolt. And now I can't cruise. So I'm going to cruise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Okay, fine. I miss my Crackling Drakes. I knew I would miss them, but I love Gigantha. I still think this is one of the best cards in the deck. But I do miss my Drakes. So lame. Okay, so now what? I can go Shredder, Eidetic Memory, and it's soft to black removal, but I get to set up the memory. And I want to hit a 5th land drop. They've been doing a lot of Drago. Not discarding Phoenix here. Probably discarding the Impulse now. Well, especially since I drew a second one. Impulse is also losing a lot of value now that the Hearse is going to be eating my Spell Mastery. Alright, so yeah, there's the Go for the Throat. Which is kind of what I was expecting. Okay. No 5th land again. Did I even discard one? No, well, I got rid of the Steam Vents. Okay. 4 cards into the Hearse, hoping to draw Prismari. Which I didn't board in, I don't think. So I'm really hoping to draw it. Okay, so there's just a 5/5. I can play Prankster, start trying to grow it. Let's lead on Consider. See what I find. Not into that right now. Shredder. For Hearse untapped. I'm probably playing this. I think I'm just gonna can hold the Slight. I'm going to hold this for the Shredder the following turn. I'm going to put the counters on the Prankster. Prankster might be my best bet since this is locked at a 5. Because if I can get this big enough, I can start attacking and blocking. Again, a big problem is the fact that this is just so vulnerable to Fatal Push. I'm trying to think of a way to beat Fatal Push in a sense, and I think the answer might just be Iconoclast because it makes a couple bodies that can stick around. I really have to think about that. It might just also be Drake because it trades better on cards against Fatal Push. It trades better against removal, worse against counter magic. All right, so here I'm going to be attacked with 2 5/5s. Go to 5. So then I'm just going to be dead to double Hydra, like a second Hydra on their turn, their next turn. Okay, so finally found an untapped land. So we can go blue, Shredder, Slight, draw, discard. Discarding Phoenix here stinks, but I don't think I'm playing it. I'll take the opt. We will opt to get another card drawn. Put the land on the bottom. Draw. I've only drawn 2 cards, so this will be in a 4/6. I don't think I want to blow a Fiery Impulse here that I can discard to a Shredder or use. So we're going to say that's good. Put the counters on Prankster, attack for 4. They don't really have to activate their Hearse. Okay, that's fine. Target. Attack. Each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. Okay. I know what this means. Because now they get to... Oh god, okay, so they're just going to abdicate the other one. Okay, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. I want my Drakes back. I want my Drakes back for these matchups. I get it. I get it now. I get it. Okay, let's go. Let's go to my decks. Go to my Phoenix deck because I do want to change this a little bit. I just don't really like iteration. I just think I just want the third memory in the regular Phoenix list. What is the happy medium here? I want borrowers. So I think I can go down a Pierce. Go to Brazen. Play one of those. I would like two because I just really like borrower. But I don't know what to cut, and I don't think I want to go back to 2 memories. I think I want 3. Another card I was thinking about was Fable. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Maybe the other deck wants Fable the Mirror Breaker because it's just like a more high value card and it's good against any of the graveyard hate, and we pivot into that. It's also kind of diversifies the mana costs for things like Extinction Event. Okay, so I guess this is where I'm at. I have the 1 borrower. My emotional support fairy. So negate, anger, Ashiok. I still don't really like Ashiok, honestly. I know it has a job to do. I don't really think it's particularly good at it. And I want Aether Gusts, but I still want the Angers. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with the sideboard. I'm really glad I don't have to play Pioneer anymore this season. Yeah, like 3 Iconoclast, 3 Drake just feels like a good set of, what's it called? Threats? Okay. Where's the dude? Yeah, I like Galvan Theory. I think Ral might just be better because I think the games you want Ral are the games where the Galvanic is you have time. So I think I want Gust. Are we off Jeggy? We are. I miss the Drakes. I think it's the only way to make the black decks or the black matchups palatable after playing with it. It stinks. But like the Fatal Pushes were just way too good against all my 2 mana threats. So maybe it's just like 2 third paths because I don't know how to board in anymore. Yeah, the one thing from working on the Giganta version is that I think I want one of this card because I think it's actually just good. What do you think? The Ral Storm Conduit instead of a Galvanic Iteration. Drake also draws a card. I know. Yeah, it just does. It does what it needs to. Like I've said, I like Drake. I don't really like Ashiok, honestly, but it feels annoying to need. I think it's annoying that it just occupies that thing that sits in play lock piece role while also just kind of like fueling crews. Ral's kind of mana intensive. Yeah, that's true. Is it any more mana intensive than a Drake, though? I like this card. How many bad gold cards can we play? So we've got Drake, we've got Iconoclast. Problem with Ashiok is that Arena is missing the cards that make Ashiok good. Yeah, that's actually pretty true. Yeah, there's no Bring to... Is there Bring to Light on Arena? Let's see. Let's filter for not collected as well. Bring to Light. No, I guess not. Drake can win the game and Ral only tries to get closer. Okay. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. So I want to fit the Prismari command. Should I just do 3 memory or 2 memory and put the Galvanic back? The Galvanic iteration. I just am not a huge fan of Galvanic Iteration in practice, but I really like it in theory. Because I think the memory is good enough to want to see one every game, instead of just milling it with your Free the Fae. So do 3 memory. Because I'm just not into Trespass. Temporal Trespass just never seems like the thing I want to be doing. Maybe the Borrower is just not worth, and we just play the Galvanic. That feels kind of good. Are you playing Galvanic with Trespass? Yeah, in paper I am. Or in paper I was. I really want to cut the Trespass for just another eidetic memory. What if I cut a land? So in some of the lists I've seen pop up by players who've played a lot more blue-red decks than I have, I've seen occasionally like 1-ish of the modal double face lands. I think either as the 19th land or as the 20th land. And I'm assuming that is mostly just for the fact that it's a spell/land to discard to Shredder, but also it's a land you can pick up off Picklock. Oh, by the way, I don't think you play Arena, but Temporal Trespass is not on Arena. I assume they're going to use it in the Mythic slot for Pioneer Horizons whenever they bring it on Arena, because I think that's how they're introducing the last handful of cards. All right, so we're back on Galvanic. We have all sorts of terrible gold cards in the sideboard. And I'm 1 over. I don't really want to cut a negate. I don't really want to cut any of my counter magic. I also want a gust, because I think gust is pretty good. Today, when I was thinking about eidetic memory again, I was thinking about a blue-red deck in Pioneer. Or not Pioneer, Modern, that uses memory and just tries to chain like preordains and bubbles and stuff in order to get a bunch of... and Shredder to get a bunch of memory triggers. I don't know how good it would be, but... because you don't have Cruise. Cruise, I think, is like the big thing that makes memory into like a huge power spike sort of deck. Where the clock just changes a bunch. What's the quandary now? I walked away. Oh, 16 cards in my sideboard. We're figuring out how many terrible gold cards I can get away with playing. Because I want the Prismari command in my sideboard, and I want the second negate, but I also want an Aether Gust. And I don't think I can play 3 Iconoclasts in my sideboard. And it's just really difficult striking this balance. Prismari command sucks. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. I know it sucks. I know it sucks, but I like it. Ooh, that's not what I want. There we go. Okay. So I cut the emotional support Brazen Borrower for the Galvanic iteration. I don't know if you were here for that. And I just have a single iteration and the 3rd memory over the Trespass slot. Otherwise, this is pretty similar to what I was doing yesterday. Because I want 3 Iconoclasts, but I don't know how I'm supposed to sideboard with 3 Iconoclasts. I kind of like 3 each of the sideboard threats. I just don't like Ashiok. Not the Borrower, I know. Emotional support Borrower is how I justify being on 3 Fiery Impulse. But I don't have anything else to cut. Unless I go back down to 2 eidetic memories, but after Saturday, I just think memory is one of the better cards. My emotional support, Brazen Borrower. Now with Galvanic Iteration, you can double Boomerang. Or double... I don't even know what... double Repeal. So I'm definitely keeping the Beacon. I got to copy a Beacon Bolt yesterday. That was pretty cool. I might just table this for a bit. Negate just covers so many bases. I feel like I need 2 in the deck. I really just don't like Ashiok. At least like on Arena, 1 copy seems fine. But, you know, I play in paper, so. Okay, this, and then we can get my emotional support critter back. All right, we'll just do this, I guess. Yeah, no BTL or Lotus Field. There's still people trying Lotus Field. I played against Lotus Field the other night. It was extremely slow. And they played a Sylvan Scrying into my Ashiok. Blue-Red Proft I'm probably still going to work on. Something focused on Proft more than Phoenix, but I think a lot of the Phoenix cards just lend themselves to being really good with memory. Oh, for paper, I'm probably cutting the 3rd Mystical. Really? I was pretty into having Mystical all day yesterday. It might just be like biased because I played against a lot of Phoenix. I'm going to keep this. Kind of does stuff. See, this is the thing I hate, is like getting the Galvanic in the opener just sucks. Take Cruise, I guess. Yep. Yeah, Dispute just felt extremely important in the mirror. Maybe I'm fine just like not having that many disputes. I really need to sit down and think about it a lot more. Let's play it. Tap land, I think. Yeah, just do tap land. Dryad Arbor mentality. What's Dryad Arbor mentality with the 3rd Mystical Dispute? Okay. I'm going to play Island. I think I'm just going to stick a Shredder here. Picklock, which is really annoying. Do I let this resolve? I think I'll let this resolve. There's that main deck Ashiok again. Maybe they'll try to remove it, and I can get a free Spell Pierce. Or a free Phoenix discard. 6 cards, which means they can cruise here. Dispute is really good if you're playing against... yes, that's fine. It's really good if you're playing against blue all day, but at my RCQs, I've been seeing mostly black decks. Dryad Arbor equals Galvanic. Yes, absolutely. It happens a lot. I see this card so much. What am I doing here? I have 2 cards in my graveyard. I'm kind of behind on that. I think they're going to Prankster, Free the Fae. So if I put a Shredder on the stack, they're probably going to cast it. So I'm wanting the Shredder to resolve first, so this way I can pierce the free. Yeah, I think I should do this regardless. But they're just sequencing and playing well, so I can't be really upset. And also, like, you probably don't want to see 3 Mystical against a control deck. It's iffy, but at the same time, I think I think I undervalue how many cards these blue decks get to look at and see and choose from. So yeah, it's entirely possible that maybe just boarding into to dispute to negate is enough. Because I think I want some of these. Okay, what are we doing here? Lead with memory. See what I get off the card. Draw. Okay, that's kind of cool. Play second Shredder in this matchup where Shredder is important. Looks like they missed on a fourth land. I think they missed a couple turns in a row, which is really unfortunate. Okay, so it looks like they're going to double cantrip here before the Shredder gets into play. Yeah, maybe I just want to diversify my counter spells a little bit more. I'm going to discard a Phoenix here, I think. They've already milled and Ashiok and playing 2, I think is a little ambitious, personally. This is 2 counters, so I can target here, put it out of Lightning Axe range, or here and diversify where my counters are going. I think I'm going to put it here, because if I put it here and they Lightning Axe or something, or Lightning Axe, I get blown out and I lose all the counters. I think I'm just going to do it here. Maybe they would have used a removal spell. Maybe there's like a sign that they would have used a removal spell before this Shredder entered play. Because now if they do, it would be a second spell, so it would just grow. You see so many cards with 3 mystical isn't needed. Okay. There's 5 counterspells right there, and at what point are you losing games because you're boarding out threats and stuff? Yeah, it's also a very good point. I think the problem is I need to figure out where my threats are good. We are going to Axe, discard. I think we're good here. Discard Phoenix. And then I should be able to pick lock into Cruise. Trigger, get back birds. I think this game is kind of done. Yeah, I think the issue is I need to figure out what matchups Drake is specifically good in and what matchups the Pyromancer effect is really good in. All right, so they're going to Axe me back. I don't think their Shredder can grow out of my Axe range, but I can free the Fae here and attempt to grow out of their Axe range. Because they're targeting the larger of the 2. I think they were banking on me not having a spell. Because even with my trigger and their Shredder can't get out of Axe range. We're going to discard. We're at 5 cards. I think I can safely discard Galv. Yeah, Galv. Because even if they counter the Free the Fae now, I can get my 3rd spell with the Opt. Discard a card. I think I'm just going to discard Grooze, I guess. Because I need to... Alright, so what is this? This is theirs. I would discard the Opt, but I need to be able to have a second spell, even if my... What's-his-face things. Anytime you see Thoughtseize, bring in Pyromancer effects. Okay. So it's like Drake. Okay, so it's this one. Resolve. Draw. Discard Slight, because it's the worst of the 2. This one. Draw. Discard Opt, because it's not Cruise. Impulse. Okay. Free the Fae. Pick up. Prankster. Axe. Resolves. There's a lot of stuff. Axe resolves. Okay, so now we're just gonna Treasure Cruise. Blue. Axe. I'm using a timeout apparently. 7. No Phoenix is targeted. Or delved, I guess. Clicked. Okay, and then we're gonna play Pathway. I'm just gonna try and convert this into damage. Axe. I will... Okay, they're dead. I will leave that on top otherwise. See, that's the thing is, like, I think if this is good anytime you see a Thoughtseize, which I don't disagree with, I think this also is good anytime you see a Thoughtseize. But then, at what point am I just changing my entire threat suite? Like, do I just board out all the Phoenixes in those matchups? I really have no clue. All right, so what do we do here? We bring in the bolts, bring in the Ishiok, bring in the disputes. And I think I'm supposed to bring in the negates because these games go really long, and I usually will board out Spell Pierce, Fire Impulses. What else? I leave in the axes, I leave in everything else. I think I was boarding out Galvanic plus Trespass, so that's this slot. And let's just go with 2 disputes since we started this conversation after I was already in this game. Let's go 2 disputes and see how it feels. Phoenix does get boarded out a lot against leyline decks, so don't stress too much about that. Okay. So do you think that the Thoughtseize decks go with the black leyline decks then? And anytime I see one, I assume the other, and then I board kind of accordingly and take out a lot of the Phoenixes in those matchups? Because it seems like they're, like, this is like the Phoenix is just, oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to keep. I think I'm going to keep, yeah. I've got a 1 and a 2. 1 and a 2, and something that's good in the matchup. Leading on Coast. I'm going to lead on Canal, and then I get to go Blue Land into Coast. So then I'm just going to pass. Yeah, so do you think I just kind of assume accordingly, and then I just board out all Phoenixes as my black deck kind of plan? Go to their turn. What are we at? 25, 25. Okay. Opt. Okay. Blue. Phoenix is one of those cards that makes game 1 a breeze and then struggles hard game 2. Yes, I have noticed that. All right, so they did nothing on turn 2. Shredder. Okay. I think they're going to Spell Pierce me here when I go for this. So do I want to? Do I just have to like run the Spell Pierce out of their hand? It feels pretty bad. Okay, so they did. I think it's pretty tough for me to play around the Spell Pierce there. I could go to my turn, you know. Now I get to play this and play that Ashiok. I think I'm supposed to do the bit here and target myself for this one. Alright, so there's Beacon Bolt. So hopefully I can go to my turn and Beacon Bolt their Shredder. Alright, so they're birding. They're going to kill the Ashiok. Which isn't unexpected. Do I cash in the Beacon Bolt now? I think I'm supposed to axe for mana efficiency. Actually, how many things are my graveyard? Okay. In an attempt to double spell. Target here, discard a bird. And then I think I'm allowed to opt, look for a land, try to pick lock. I can get back 1 bird at least. I'll take this island. Amalia stands out as a Thoughtseize deck that doesn't play Leyline. And yeah, when you see Thoughtseize, you're probably going to see Leyline, but not always. It varies depending on the format. But from form, it's mostly one and the same on the format. Yeah, well, yeah. I think you know what I mean. All right, so we're going to use my 2-mana card here. I'll take Consider. Bird. I don't think I'm blocking right now. I think I'm just going to attempt to win the race because I have a second Phoenix. Did I eat one of theirs? I did. They discarded it to the Shredder, that's right. Okay, so they're just running through cantrips, so I think they have a Treasure Cruise. If they hold back on defense, I think that is a good sign for me. And I think here I'm just going to stick the second Phoenix and just attack. If they have like a Fire Impulse or a Torch the Tower, it's something that's not going to be getting back their other Phoenix. I think they're going to torch me. Oh, they're axing. Okay, so they definitely have a Treasure Cruise. Shredder into Cruise, probably. Pay 2. Yeah, they're clicking their graveyard. Okay. Land. Awesome. Okay, so they've got 3. They're at 14. They can hang back on defense. I can attack and then post Beacon Bolt. Oh, I have a bird in the graveyard. Do I want to get 2 birds or do I just want to bolt? I think I want to get the Shredder out because I think that card's really good. Target here. We're just going to get rid of this. The Slight. And then I'm going to hold the cantrips for the following turn. Ooh, Dispute. Okay. I'll attack. Their draws are really good. My opener was pretty good, though, so... Okay. So now they have a 2-4 for blocking. And they've slighted. Okay. So did we get a Phoenix in the yard? They do have a Phoenix. Cool. Yes. Okay. Okay. Now they're going to fight back. So this is 8. So what am I looking for? What is my best bet? I think I need to find a removal spell for the Shredder. Okay, 6. So I need to find a blocker or I need to find a, what's it called? Okay, so that's not bad as a blocker. If I can grow this high enough to block that, or start cantripping into cantrips. I can get back Phoenixes and kind of play defense for a little bit. Assuming they block with Bird. You could have triple cantripped for Phoenix, hit them for 3, and then Beacon Bolt for 10 the next turn. Okay. Yeah, I could have. So I think I want to play this. But at that point, I don't know. I think I can start the double spell with the Prankster. I think I can just kind of make this game last a little longer, but I think they're up on cards and they're definitely up on mana. So I think I'm going to use the Shredder as a blocker here. Block, block, block. Take 2. Cruise seems good. I think I'm going to keep that. Play this. Blue. 1, 2. Might be able to get both back. 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Hopefully they don't negate. Okay, so they pierced. No blocks. I'm going to block, block, take 2, go to 4. Okay, so there's a Torch. I don't think Torch is very good, by the way. I think the mirrors are a lot less about Phoenix. You know, they're still good, and you have that option. Discard memory, I think. Because I need to start shredding. I think if they discard a spell, I'm just dead. Because they don't know. Well, they don't know what this is. Okay. Yeah, so I'm definitely dead here. Alright, next one. Okay. They left in Spell Pierce. I don't really like that. Maybe it's better on the play. Maybe you need it. Maybe if you're on 2 Dispute, the Spell Pierce has become a lot more appealing because you can hit the Ashiok early. Maybe maybe you just want 1 negate. Maybe I just want 1 negate total. And I'm not keen as much on Borrower. I'll cut the Borrower. This is definitely the last one for the night. All right, play first. Okay, what do we got? Good stuff. I think. Turn 2, my Shredder. Make them have it. And then go Memory Consider for just the good start. I'm going to play this tapped, conserve life, and then I get to go Kanal. Why do I have a ping on Discord? Ooh, punished. Okay. So I'm out of threats, but I think they were going to have that up anyway. So I'm going to play Canal. I think I'm just going to Picklock at their end step. And then I get to go Picklock into Memory on turn 4, hopefully, if I draw a land off the top. I get to consider to look for 1 too. I'm going to Picklock. Okay, find. Dispute seems kind of nice to have for some insurance. Use this to find an untapped land. Alright, they're going to Picklock here. Find a Consider of their own. I'm going to put the axe in the graveyard, have an axe in my hand. Plus, it's not what I'm looking for. There's my vents. They're tapped out. So I can go Memory. Also would have been a look at an untapped land. Pay 2 life. Prankster. Slight. Consider. Okay, so they have Phoenixes in the graveyard too. So if they can find another cantrip or a lava axe or lightning axe here. Wow, a 3rd bird. Terrible for me. What do we got here? We have 1 bird in our graveyard, and I think I can double axe. Because I don't think I can afford to just tap out for a Phoenix here. Discard Pathway. I'm going to play tapped Canal. We're going to be defensive. I don't think I can race back because if they go spell, I'm just dead. I don't think I can pay 4 mana to play a Phoenix to hopefully trade off with 1. Because if they go any removal spell, I'm also dead. I might have thrown away game 2. I'm not certain. I really need to draw something good here, though. It might have all gone wrong when my Shredder got disputed. But there was a plan there. Maybe that's just not a plan I can take in this matchup. Drink some water. Okay, there's the torch that I was afraid of. Ooh, knocked over my phone. Okay, so this game is very over. Okay. Alright, so I got skill diffed all night. Which is fine. I clearly have more games to play with Phoenix. However, I got go blanked a lot as well, so I don't know if it's all entirely my fault. But a lot of it is my fault. So let's look over here. Okay, so I think this is what I'm going to be going with. Maybe cut the bar where I just have an extra 60th slot to fill at that point. Go down dispute. Go down dispute, play a gust. I do like gust right now, especially because green is showing up again. They finally got green to work. Because I kind of just want like 2 negate, 2 dispute, 2 gust, personally. But I don't really know how to fit that. Dream render's kind of nice-ish. 3/3 might be too many. Maybe I do cut the iconoclast. Because it's not like it's bad in multiples. But I do have, I think, too many threats. Another gust. Just see how that goes. All these blue counter spells. Okay. Maybe do that. Keep playing Stinky Trespass. I hate it. Oh well, fortunately I don't have to think about it that much. Alright, well, I'm glad I got to try it, and I'm glad I have all these memories now. So I'm going to call it there. My room is sweltering. So despite the embarrassments, hopefully we can just forget about tonight, other than the fact that I missed the Drakes. And I'm going to call it there. Thank you for stopping in, hanging out, watching, commenting, helping me figure out sideboarding and how to play blue-red cards. So have a good night, and I will see you around.